It's train time, starting now, right after this small intro.
In compliance with COPA, this video is not for children under the age of 14. Viewer discretion is advised. Sponsored by Canadian Model Railroad.ca and by donations from patrons like you. Further support provided by Miniprint.ca. Make your layout come alive with the 3D creation of Miniprint.ca. And now on with the show with your hosts, Peter and Joe.
Well, what time it is?
It's train time.
Hey, December 2021, Christmas time.
Episode 24.
That's right. You know, we come into you later than usual from our studio here because we have been to the Portage, La Prairie, or clubs,
Yes.
you know, that we belong to, and went and see their Christmas celebration.
That's
so
right. They had their Christmas train show.
Yep. So with no further ado, let's go to Portage.
This
Okay.
is CMR Productions. It's train time. We are on location in Portage, La Prairie, Manitoba. Beautiful sunny day. And we are at the home of the Portage, La Prairie Model Railroad Club. They are housed here in the old CP station that was restored a number of years ago after a fire and is now under the heritage people here, and they work with the Portage Club keeping maintenance and things like that, upkeep on the station. We'll be going inside shortly to have a look at some of the train layouts that the club has, and this is their Christmas show, so hopefully you enjoy. It's good to see you all. I'm here with, and your name is?
Christiane.
Christian, and obviously you're interested in some trains.
Yeah.
What scale do you like? You like this scale here?
I think this bigger scale right here is probably my favorite because of the width of the train and also how the carts look.
Okay, that's good. There's quite a few scales to get involved with it, but this is the most common one. Do you have a train set at home?
I have a Lego train set. Well, it's not mine. It's not mine. It's our family's.
Okay. Would you be? Do you think you'd be getting into this kind of model trains?
I don't know yet.
You don't know yet. Have you asked for anything for Christmas in trains?
Don't think so.
Don't think so. Okay. And you've spent a good part of the day here, or just a short time?
I've spent here for like an hour. Or like, what time is it? I don't know what time it is.
Have you looked at all of the layouts?
Yes.
And you like this scale the best, eh?
Yeah.
Okay. That's good. Okay. I would like to thank you for taking part in this, and you'll have to look for us on It's Train Time on YouTube. Okay? Thank you very much.
Bye.
here with Colton. Now, Colton, you're here to see model trains, right?
Yeah,
And which ones do you really like?
Thomas.
Which ones?
Thomas.
Thomas. Oh, you like Thomas. What about here? Have you seen Thomas here?
Yeah, a long time ago, but I don't know where he is.
Oh, you don't know where you saw him before, but not today. Okay. What other trains here do you like besides Thomas?
That train up there.
The big one up on the wall? Yeah. That's a nice one, eh?
Yeah, and I also like these trains.
These ones are good too, yeah. And how old are you?
6.
6. Do you have a train at home?
Yeah. I got Trackmaster and Wooden Railway.
Yeah. Have you asked Santa Claus for any trains?
Yeah.
Yes? Well, I'd like to thank you for taking part in this interview. Okay? And I hope you enjoyed the rest of your day.
Okay.
Okay? You have fun.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you. I'm talking to Samuel, one of the members. How long have you been a member here?
About 10 years. I think it's more like 8, but about 10. I started here what seems like forever ago.
Yeah, sometimes it gets to that point. You're running what era?
CP in the 90s. 93 to 96 is a specific date, but you can always fudge it. You can make it what you want.
Yeah, there's always room for tweaking, right?
Yeah.
Now you've been here a while, and you bring some specific technical expertise to the club.
So I'm the one who has done most of our integration with cell phones and automation.
Okay, good. That's we were interested in that you guys can do that kind of stuff now. It's really a step forward.
The layout in the other end, we have a set of switches that are run on the Digitrack system. They don't have actual switch points that you either toggle or throw by hand. You go into the DCC system and command them.
Okay, that's good. That's good. I noticed we didn't have a lot of kids here today, but we did interview some, and they seem to be interested in trains. What is the membership number here?
In the range of about 15 to 20 on an average meeting night we'll have. Run nights we tend to have about 5 to 10. I don't actually have a specific number offhand of how many members we do have. It might be in the 30 range. Consider we do have some members who don't show up very often, but
Right. You always have the ones that just kind of come out once in a while, the worker bees, and the ride-alongs.
yeah, definitely happens.
You were talking about possibly doing some changes to the layout. Can you elaborate on that at all?
So we're going to move a number of turnouts. There's turnouts here on this section that really need to be further along the layout. They just aren't in the right place for what we need them to be. We have troubles getting in and out of our yard in the center here. So we want to change it so it makes our lives easier.
And this layout actually started as a modular, right?
Yes, it did. It initially started with everyone had their own module. They did what they wanted to it. The only standard was the 3 rails at the defined spacing.
And your other HO layout in the other room is the one that you travel with now to other train shows, right?
Yeah, that's what we use as our travel layout. It's actually based on the same plan as this, with an extra 6 inches on the back for more scenery.
Okay. Well, I'd like to thank you for taking the time to talk to us, and we look forward to seeing more of the Portage Club.
Yeah, no problem. I'd like to see everyone come around if they could.
Thank you.
Well, Peter, that visit in Portage was great.
Yes.
Good celebration, good Christmas celebration, good spirit. The
Yes.
kids had fun.
Yes.
You know. And,
And they are located in the old CP station.
yep. You got the Class 1 railroad on both sides.
That's right.
You know.
Yep.
It's a perfect place. So now, after this short commercial, we'll go to the photo of the month, the review of the Miniprint, and the view from above. Enjoy.
Enjoy.
Ever wanted to take a nostalgic trip back to the steam era? Through the Window of a Train is the book for you. Or go back into history with the Memory of the Moonlight specials. Through the Window of a Train for $19.95, or Memory of the Moonlight specials for $21.95, or 4 limited time offers. You can get both books signed for only $39.95 plus shipping. Order now.
Well, there's our review for the Miniprint that you can get at miniprint.com.
Yes, our first review.
Yep, the first review. The piece in here is a soldier from World War I.
Yes. Canadian.
Yes, Canadian. It's a cenotaph. The base is all made in one piece. The soldier is the second piece, and that is on an S scale, what we order for our layout.
That's right, that was ordered for the CMR.
That's right. From that, Bernard has came up with the HO.
HO scale.
Yes, he's also got the N scale and the O scale of the soldier. Now on the HO scales is a 3-piece. You got the base by itself, the middle piece, and the soldier. So you can have variations as far as how you want to do your cenotaph.
Right, how it's painted and stuff.
Now they're very easy to paint. So now I will open the case and talk about some of the pieces that was on the last box. One of them here, if I go a little further, there we go. That is a delivery man that you can have. This one is painted as any kind of delivery man for any courier you can have. Very easy to paint, just need a little bit more of patience and so on, but very well designed. The other delivery man that came on the package would be the UPS guy. The UPS guy, as you can see, is all in brown, right? I hold it with tweezer because it's very small figures, and it's a little harder to paint sometimes because you want to bring as much detail as you want. Then in the same category, you had the lantern. I don't know if you can see that,
Those are awfully small.
but those are very, very small, and it's right there in my hands. And when I paint them, you break them, and that's exactly what happened to me.
Very, very difficult to paint.
In the same box, we got the Sea-Doo. The Sea-Doo is very beautiful little piece. Is a lot of colors that is add on to it, as you can see. The only problem I find with this specific 3D print is the bottom of it. The bottom is not flat, so your piece will go right, will go left, whatever size. That is what I do not like about it. If the bottom was flat, it'd be easier.
It'll probably be okay once it's set in resin in your water seat.
Yeah, it could be. Could be. Here we got a scarecrow. Now that scarecrow is neat because there's a lot of color on it. With the patch and so on, and the straw on the hands and the bottom.
You're holding it by its little peg at the bottom, right?
Right, that's the one that you put on the styrofoam.
Yeah.
So that's a great little piece. Then we got the male turkey that came in, which is, as you can see, the American got their Thanksgiving during November. We got it a little earlier, so this one must be a Christmas turkey.
It's all ready for Christmas.
Yep, it's all ready for Christmas. Along with that came
A couple of females, right?
couple of female turkeys, as you can see.
They're a little smaller and very delicate to paint. So is the male turkey, because I
gotta
paint
watch
a male
out.
turkey, knock off some legs.
Legs, yeah. Legs are pretty fine.
Here we'll be talking about
Well, if you want a little,
Canada geese.
want a little goose for Christmas.
Yeah, this one is the male one, the gander. As you can see, he's up on his legs and so on, and it's already painted.
How are the legs on those ones?
Very fragile. It so happened that now I got one here that is sitting. It's all painted.
So you have to be very careful when you're painting the legs on these.
Yes. So that one I had broke the legs, and I ended up making
A swimming goose.
a swimming goose, or one sitting on the net.
Ah, yes, on the nest, yeah.
Here, in my hands, I got a reindeer. And as you will probably notice,
He's got a red nose,
yep, he's got the red nose.
so it's got to be Rudolph.
That's Rudolph. You know, all painted and ready to go for the sleigh. Those are a little bigger on HO, so it's easier to paint. In there I got a few different mix of different browns, and I put when I started, I painted in gray as a base, and after that I play with dry brushing with different kind of brown and work a little bit onto the rack in there, and it give a very, very nice finishing to the reindeer.
Looks very nice.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. Now, because it's Christmas, we cannot have a Christmas without Santa Claus.
Mr. Claus.
Yeah, that is a 3D from Bernard, and as you can see, it's totally decorated and painted. Now, when the figure comes, it's not painted. You got to paint it yourself. So this one was a little longer and maybe a little bit harder to paint because there's a lot of details with Santa Claus.
It turned out very well, though.
Yes, it did. So overall, as far as review is concerned, the product is excellent. It's very well detailed on all the figures, and definitely they're not painted. They have a warranty on it if you get in touch with Bernard at www.miniprint.com and make your orders. So other than being fragile and the fact that maybe the Sea-Doo should have a flat bottom, you know, so that it doesn't go on both sides, right or left or whatever, that's about the only criticism, Peter, that I got on
Yeah,
that.
no, they came out very nice.
Yes, except the lantern. The lantern, every one of them I tried to paint, I broke.
Oh, jeez.
So, anyway, folks, visit miniprint.com and see what's new coming in week after week after week after week, and make your layout come alive with the figure from Miniprint.
Yes.
Well, Peter, Christmas is upon us.
Yes.
You know, after our visit to Portage, and now we had the photo of the month. We had the review of the the mini print, the 3D
Right.
mini print,
Yes.
and the view from above as usual.
Yes.
So
Yes.
on our side, this time we brought back a part of a segment from our show, episode number 7, because episode 6 and 7 were about ALCO'S.
ALCO'S.
And in episode 7, we had the ALCO'S of Tony Zerba, which is one of our crew members.
And we did the ALCO'S because we had a request.
That's right. That was Mike Altman who had made the request. So we got just 2 minutes running on our CMR layout upstairs before the pandemics, before we realign all the tracks and so
For
on.
our electrical disaster.
Right. And those ALCO'S are all programmed a little bit different, so the sound is different from one to the other. So
And because Tony actually worked on the ALCO'S, he could tell during the programming to get the sound fine-tuned so that they did sound like what he worked on. So,
yeah, he did.
Yeah.
And he was very pleased when we finished the programming. So enjoyed that segment.
Yes. It's nice to revisit that.
Yeah, I'm always amazed with his locomotives because he's got 4 of them,
Yes.
all right? And the 4 of them, they are programmed to be a little different in the sound from one to the others.
Yes.
And when you put them all together and they are running, It's just a beautiful symphony.
Yeah. Well, Tony actually worked on the ALCO'S hauling coal to.
Yeah, in the Cascade,
Yep.
in the Cascade sub in BC.
Yep.
That's is pretty many moons ago,
Yes.
you know.
Yes.
But we know on the CMR, the only guy who really worked on a railroad was him.
Tony. Yeah.
So all of us, we have not. Whatever in modeling nowadays in 2021, what amazed me is all the thing you can find that wasn't there before. And people who think about trains, okay, for them, a lot of people on the outside in there that are not model railroaders, and they look at it as toy,
Yes.
right?
Yep.
Which is far from the truth,
Yes.
you know. But on the other side, when you look at model railroader now, and the way that they do their layout and compose their scene and so on, and taking point, I like to mention the Brimstone Railroad, which is Don Ferguson.
Don Ferguson. Yes.
And if you have look at some of Don Ferguson's photo of his layout,
Very nice detail.
yes, but if you notice, he's got cars, he's got trucks, he's got people, he's got trees, his telephone poles or lines, and so on. But nowadays, you do not have necessarily just to look at what is on the hobby shop. If you want to have cars, you got company like Shapeways that many different individuals have designed modern cars, you know.
Cars, yeah.
So you're not necessarily stuck to the transition era. You can now models the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, and even the 2000. And it's some of the example, the little trucks that you modify sometime for have maintenance of weight trucks and high rail and that type of thing, though that a lot of them come already ready for that, who are modern trucks.
Yes. Yep.
You know?
Yep.
So automobile is the same. You know, the only thing that you don't see many modeler do is to have those car and those truck on the highway, but they got no drivers. You know, so sometimes you got to be a little bit intuitive. And when I do a vehicle that will be on the highway and I want to put the drivers on, I will take an N scale figure. And I will cut it if I have to, or I will take an HO figure, depending of the space that I got. But more than likely, they will lose their legs.
Yeah, it's something you have to be observant about, I guess. You see cars on the highway, they've got people in them. So when you're modeling, you have to keep that type of thing in mind, that to be realistic on your layout, you've got to do things like that, or people will look at it and say, "Oh, that's not quite right."
And that's absolutely true. Now, somebody who just look at the pictures that doesn't know model railroading, they probably won't notice. But any model railroader do.
Yep.
You know, I saw lately many picture about making trees, and it's so many different methods, and depending where you're living and what you have around you. Yeah, around us and here we use the golden rods.
Yes, for our deciduous trees. Yeah.
In some other area down in the state, they don't have golden rods, so they use a different type of weeds to do it, and it come out just beautiful.
Yep.
You know, some use puffball to save some time. Personally, I don't like puffballs, but some people like it. It look fine. So
Yarrow is another weed that can be used.
Very popular.
I've used that.
Yeah. Some use the woodland cynic trees or that type of thing.
You can even if you get like a cheap plastic tree, you can doctor it up to make it look really good, either as a coniferous tree or deciduous, depending on. So don't be afraid to go that route too. If you're wanting to buy trees rather than make them from scratch.
You can buy via eBay or whatever cheap plastic trees, big lot of them for very, very cheap, and then you doctor them and you will never know it was a low quality tree because it turned out good, right? But then you can also go and do trees with bottle brush, with furnace filters and so on. You can go to the.
Don't be afraid to try different things.
No. And trees, you have to do them in such a way that each one of them are a little bit different from the others. I'm talking color-wise.
Yes.
Because when you put them in the forest that you're making, if you look at the forest is not all the same green, and you got some browns and you got some deads and so on in there. So like me, when I started to model, I was pretty much so very finicky as, if I make this piece here, well, that one's got to be the same as the first one. And as the time went, I realized, it didn't make much difference if they're not quite all the same, because that's what makes them even more natural.
Yeah, and if you're modeling, take a walk out in nature and see what, Mother Nature makes mistakes, if you want to put it that way. There's lots of different mixes out there that you can build into your sceneries, but just be observant. Go out and look and observe nature.
Well, that's the only way that you can get away with it, So, anyway, folks, we wish you from the CMR
a very Merry Christmas
and CMR Productions and It's Train Time a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year's.
And we'll see you all next year.
Yes, in 2022 in January.
Yes. Take care.
Enjoy, folks, and happy modeling.
Yes. Merry Christmas.